Start, ma'am.
Welcome to TRI's webinar of English for Junior Intermediate. Good morning to you all. And now we are dealing with Module 3, Unit 9, and our topic is On the Rule of the Road, written by A.G. Gardiner. So far we have completed Module 1, Module 2. So we have tasted the mother's love with the beautiful description of Ashiyamma by Abdul Kalam. And we have even learned the significance of giving. So with the help of A Little Grain of Gold written by Rabindranath Tagore. And we have also learned, you have learned pretty well about the gentlemen who have been existing in the society, and we should not fall the victims of such gentlemen with the help of the umbrella man. And later you all have learned that you all have to aim for the stars with the help of Saina Nehwal. And you also have gone for a trip. So even though it is the COVID season, right? And you have gone for a trip with the beautiful description of the royal tombs of Golconda written by Sarojini Naidu. And now, so we have to let us be a little more responsible with the help of the lesson on the rule of the road. So let us move on the rule of the road written by A.G. Gardiner. So about the author, let's learn about the author. Alfred George Gardiner, he was a British journalist and essayist. He wrote many articles under the pseudonym of Alpha of the Plough. So pseudonym means that is the pen name or the fictitious name. And his essays are elegant, humorous, and are of human interest. He has the unique ability to teach the basic truths of life in an easy and amusing manner. So elegant means attractive and stylish. So when you read his essays, you find them quite attractive because they deal with the basic truths of life. And moreover, even his essays are not at all complicated. When you read his essays, you find them easy and quite amusing. That means you can even laugh. Okay. And A.G. Gardiner, some of the best known writings are listed below. So let us have a look at some of the best known writings of A.G. Gardiner. So Pillars of Society that he wrote in 1913, Pebbles on the Shore that he wrote in 1916, Leaves in the Wind that he wrote in 1919, and Many Furrows that he wrote in 1924. And before going into the lesson, so we all have the zeal and we all have the enthusiasm to get to know so what the author has been trying to portray in his essay, right? So people quite often fight for their rights. So we are pretty well aware of this fact. Even we do also fight for our rights at home, that I'm the eldest one and all, isn't it? So we're also fond of fighting for our rights. So have you come across a person who always thinks about his or her responsibilities? What is the relationship between rights and responsibilities? It seems to be the same, ma'am. You may think for a while. But is there a connection between liberty and duty? Let's read on to find out. Right. See, you are a student and you have the right to educate. You needn't be left out as a dropout, but you have a great responsibility to put your efforts in education to succeed in your life. Because all the time you may be going to your parents and you may be arguing with your parents. See, I want to study this, I want to study that, no matter how much it costs and all, isn't it? So you all have the right to ask, or you all have the right to request your parents that you want to study well. Then you parents also, they have the responsibility to see that they have to provide that education in some or the other way, by some or the other means. So at the same time, all the students so also have the greatest responsibility by putting your hard work and earnest efforts into action by securing good grades and all. So that would be the best gifts to your parents. And right refers to what is right, what is a right. So right refers to a privilege granted by the Constitution. And what is responsibility? Responsibility refers to an action taken to engage in that right. We all have the rights, but when does that right become a responsibility? When we implement that right with our responsibility by putting our action into it, by fulfilling that. So parents have the, so simple example I would like to give. Children have the right to educate, and parents have the responsibility to provide that education to children, so that you're all experiencing now. So let's go a little deeper into liberty. So what is liberty? Liberty refers to the power or scope to act as one pleases. So all the time you must be saying, ma'am, I would like to do this, I would like to do that. What is this like and all? When do we say like and all? When we are given some liberty, ma'am, I just want to perform the same experiment in another manner. So many a times we just so want to be liberal in so many aspects, and many a times you must be asking even the teachers, ma'am, give some liberal marks and all, right? So liberty, it refers to the power or scope to act as one pleases. And coming to duty, it refers to an action. So all the teachers, so they have a heavy responsibility, and they have the duty, isn't it, to fulfill by taking the online classes and all on behalf of our tri society. So to all the students, so that you all will be benefited, isn't it? This is our duty. So duty refers to an action that one requires to perform as part of one's job. So this we can't escape. Duty has to be fulfilled and duty has to be performed. So for example, let's have a look at one example. We have the liberty to choose a leader of our wish in the elections, and the leader should perform his duty for the well-being of his people. So we have the liberty, we can choose any leader of our wish. So it's not somebody's risk, or it's not somebody's wish to come and force us that we have to vote for this person or that person. So we have the liberty, and India is a democratic country, and we have the liberty to choose a leader who is efficient, so by his deeds and all, and we can vote for the person. And leader, what does the leader do? The leader does his duty to so perform the well-being of his people. He has to work for the well-being of his people. And one more example, let's look at, we have the liberty to do whatever we want, but we must perform our duties as the citizens of India without causing any trouble to anybody. Of course, we have the liberty. It doesn't mean that we would like to do whatever we want. It doesn't mean that we would so perform whatever we wish to perform. So we have to stick to certain standards when it affects, when we think that it may affect the other person. If it refers only to us alone, so you can eat a curry of your choice and you can do whatever you want. But when it is connected with the people all around, because we are a part of the society, so we can't take all the liberty to ourselves, and we can't leave the people aside, and we can't leave them to their fate, that they should be the victims of our personal liberty. That we should not do. Okay. And one more thing I just want to quote here. We have one liberty, not for one, but it is for everyone, that we have to remember. So let's move on to the next slide. So when you look at the picture, you find many people. See, you find a woman who has been looking into the phone, and she has been trying to cross the road. And even behind that woman, you find another woman. Even she has been speaking on phone. And the people, they have been trying to cross the road by doing some or the other action. So do you think it's apt to cross the road by speaking on phone or by looking into the phone? Because such kinds of sites and such kinds of situations we do come across nowadays, because so many a times we can also call it the electronic world. So where the electronic gadgets and all are playing a vital role. So what happens if anyone does so, thinking that they have the liberty to do whatever they want? So let's go ahead with our lesson on the rule of the road and learn how an individual's liberty leads to social anarchy. So, coming to the first paragraph, a stout old lady was walking with her basket down the middle of a street in Petrograd, to the great confusion of the traffic and with no small peril to herself. It was pointed out to her that the pavement was the place for foot passengers. But she replied, I'm going to walk where I like. We have got liberty now. It did not occur to the dear old lady that if liberty entitled the foot passenger to walk down the middle of the road, it also entitled the cab driver to drive on the pavement, and that the end of such liberty would be universal chaos. Everybody would be getting in everybody else's way, and nobody would get anywhere. Individual liberty would have become social anarchy. So when you look at the first sentence, a stout old lady, where was she walking? She was walking with her basket down the middle of a street in Petrograd, to the great confusion of the traffic. So she was so walking so in the middle of a street, and she was causing a great confusion to the traffic, and with no small peril. That means she was not exposing herself to a small danger. She was exposing herself to a great dangerous situation, and she was not only exposing herself to a great dangerous situation, and she was also becoming the reason to many people to fall the victim of her her wrongdoing. Okay, and it was pointed out to her that the pavement was the place for foot passengers, but she replied, I'm going to walk where I like. We have liberty now. So when she was going in the middle of a street in Petrograd, and she was causing a great confusion, she was pointed out by somebody that that was not the way to walk, and she was not supposed to walk in the middle of the street because we have to walk on the left side of the road. So when she was pointed out that she was doing a wrong thing, then she said, no, 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 I'm going to walk where I like. Who are you to say? Because it's my wish. I will walk where I like, isn't it? So we have got liberty now. And she said, we have got liberty and I will walk where I like. So, and I will do what I wish to do. It did not occur to the dear old lady. Here, the author portrays the real time experience, and here the author portrays in a humorous manner. See, many a times when we think that we can do whatever we want, we also have to think at the same time that others also can perform the same thing. They can also do anything, so without thinking about the well-being of others. So when we are responsible for others, they also will be responsible for us. So we have to keep it in our mind. Then, so the author says that, see, when the lady said, or when the lady answered in such a smart manner, it did not strike to the dear old lady that if liberty entitled the foot passenger to walk down the middle of the road, it also entitled the cab driver to drive on the pavement. See, when the lady thinks that it is right on her part to walk in the middle of a street, the cab driver also can say that even when he drives on the pavement, he will also argue that what he was doing also was right. He could also drive on the pavement. So, and what happens as a result when people do according to their wish, when people are not responsible for each other's lives, what happens? And that, so the end of such liberty would be universal chaos. There will be a great disturbance, and everybody would be put into an endangered situations. So everybody would be getting in everybody else's way without minding our own business. When we interfere into others' business also, when we act in a wrong manner, and when we cause trouble to others, we also will be the victims of others mistakes and all. So when we interfere with others' liberty, so no individual liberty would have become social anarchy. The whole society may have to be the victim of one person's states, and that will have a great impact on even others. In that way, the whole society would be led into anarchy. Social anarchy means a total confusion we find in the society. So let's have a look at the meanings. What is meant by peril? Peril is serious danger. That means she was not exposing to a small danger, but she was exposing herself to a great dangerous situation. Liberty. What is liberty? Liberty is freedom. And what is meant by entitled? Giving somebody the right to have or to do something. So when the lady does what she wants, she's also giving a chance even to others that they can also act in the way they like. So why should we give such a chance to others with our wrongdoings? And also we should not do. We should be responsible in whatever we do. And what is meant by chaos? A complete disorder and confusion. And anarchy, a situation in which there is no order or control. So when we act in the way we like, we find a total social anarchy. We find a total confusion, and the situation would not be in our control. And let's have a look at the first paragraph once again. So a stout lady, what's happening in the paragraph? A stout lady, she was walking in the middle of a street with her basket in Petrograd. She caused a great confusion in the traffic. But when she was pointed out that the foot passengers were supposed to walk only on the pavement, she responded saying that she would walk wherever she liked, as she got the liberty to walk where she liked. But the old lady failed to understand one thing, that when she, as a foot passenger, got the liberty to walk where she liked, the cab driver could also drive on the pavement. Ultimately, all this would turn into universal chaos. An individual's liberty would become a social anarchy if proper measures have not been taken. And coming to the second paragraph, there is a danger of the world getting liberty drunk in these days, like the old lady with the basket. And it is just as well to remind ourselves of what the rule of the road means. It means that in order that the liberties of all may be preserved, the liberties of everybody must be curtailed. When the policeman, say at Piccadilly Circus, steps into the middle of the road and puts out his hand, he is the symbol not of tyranny but of liberty. You may not think so. You may, being in a hurry and seeing your motor car pulled up by this insolence of office, feel that your liberty has been outraged. How dare this fellow interfere with your free use of the public highway? Then, if you are a reasonable person, you will reflect that if he did not incidentally interfere with you, he would interfere with no one. And the result would be that Piccadilly Circus would be a maelstrom that you would never cross at all. You have submitted to a curtailment of private liberty in order that you may enjoy a social order which makes your liberty a reality. So there is a danger of the world getting liberty drunk. So let's look at the meanings of the new words. Okay, so liberty drunk. What is meant by liberty drunk? The people who are only concerned with their own liberties. My wish, this is my life. I will do as I like. Curtailed. What is curtailed? Curtailed means limited, restricted, controlled. So individual's liberty has to be curtailed. Means individual's liberty must be limited so that even others also will not fall the victims of one's liberty. Tyranny means unfair or cruel use of power. And insolence, it is extreme rudeness or lack of respect. Outraged means a strong feeling of shock or anger. Piccadilly Circus, it's a road in the city of Westminster in London, and Piccadilly Circus is in the east. And Maelstrom, a situation full of strong emotions or confusing events. I just would like to show you even the pics. So Piccadilly Circus, that is the major traffic junction in the city of Westminster in London. Okay, and coming to the paragraph, second paragraph. So there is a danger of the world getting liberty drunk. So people, they think that everybody would like to enjoy liberty. Liberty drunk, that means they all want to enjoy liberty. They just think about themselves. In these days, like the old lady with the basket, even she was saying the same thing. I would walk wherever I liked. So even she wanted to satisfy herself and she wanted to do whatever she wanted to do. And it is just as well to remind ourselves. It's a good sentence. See, we have to remind, and we have to bring awareness even among others as well as within ourselves. And this is the time for us to think seriously about what the rule of the road means. Because there are people like the old lady. The old lady, she was walking with the basket in the middle of a street. In the same way, people, so they are becoming liberty drunk. Everybody wants to do whatever they want to do. So let us think seriously of what the rule of the road means and why do we have to take it seriously and why should we give more prominence to it. It means that in order that the liberties of all may be preserved, if we want everybody should be happy, if we want everybody to be happy, and we have to, the liberties of everybody must be curtailed. That means in order that the liberties of all may be preserved, in order to protect everyone's liberty, the liberties of everybody must be curtailed. So that means we have to limit, we have to control, we have to limit our liberty, we have to limit our freedom. And we can't try to, or we should not try to utilize our freedom to the fullest. So when the policeman say at Piccadilly Circus, so it was all the time busy. So if in case if the policeman say if the policeman say at Piccadilly Circus steps into the middle of the road and puts out his hand, he's the symbol not of tyranny. Suddenly when we go in a wrong path, when we break the traffic rules, in case if the policeman comes forward and says and suggests us that's not the way for us to go, then immediately we just look at the policeman so furiously, and we get angry upon him, even though he has been suggesting us the right thing, even though he has been doing his duty in the right way. We get angry and we just look at him so fiercely, and we think that he's the tyrant, he's so cruel in using his powers and all, we think. But no, he's not the symbol of tyranny but of liberty. He's allowing everybody, he wants to allow everyone to enjoy the fruit of the liberty. He doesn't want to limit the liberty to one person by leaving that one person to do whatever that one person wants to do on the road, on the road. So then, but of liberty, you may not think so. That means the whoever he stops in the middle of the road. So whoever the policeman stops in the middle of the road, that person may not think that he was doing the right thing, but still he was doing the right thing by stopping the person because he wanted everyone to enjoy the fruit of the liberty. Then you may being in a hurry and seeing your motor car pulled up by this insolence of office, so feel that your liberty has been outraged. Then people, what do people think? The people think that when the policeman, when they come and when they try to stop those people in the middle of the road, they get angry and they think that this policeman is objecting their liberty, and this policeman is not allowing them to make use of their freedom in the right way or to the fullest. So they get angry and they feel that their liberty has been outraged. No, 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 he's just taking off our liberty. And they also get angry and they think in how dare this fellow interfere with your free use of the public highway. So how dare he is to stop, and how dare so this fellow interfere with your free use of the public highway. So why does he have to stop you and all? But in case if we just take a moment and if we just think for a while, if you are a reasonable person, you will reflect that if he did not incidentally interfere with you, he would interfere with no one, and the result would be that Piccadilly Circus would be a maelstrom that you would never cross it on. In case if the policeman doesn't stop the person so in the middle of the road, then that person will never reach the Piccadilly Circus. So that day, so will surely that day might be an end, that day might be the last day for that person, and the person might cause a number of so disasters or the endangerous situations even to others, and there so the individual liberty so will surely end in social anarchy. Then so you have submitted to a curtailment of private liberty in order that you may enjoy a social order which makes your liberty a reality. So we all have to control, or we all have to limit our private liberty so that we will enjoy a social order, and that will make our liberty a reality. So it's always safe for us to follow the traffic rules and all, and it's always safe for us to listen to the suggestions of the policemen. And when we look at the so gist of the paragraph, once again let's recapitulate what we have seen in the second paragraph. There is a danger of the world getting liberty drunk. So people like the old lady with the basket, they remain to remind ourselves of what the rule of the road means. One important thing to notice here is that in order to preserve everybody else's liberty, the liberties of all individuals must be restricted. We all have to control our liberty to let others enjoy liberty. So Piccadilly Circus, it's a road junction and public space of London's West End in the city of Westminster. It is one of the most famous road intersections in the world. When a policeman puts out his hand at the Piccadilly Circus, he's not the symbol of tyranny, but he's the symbol of liberty that we have to understand. If a person is a reasonable one, that person will surely then reflect that if the police did not stop him at that Piccadilly Circus, he would never cross that Piccadilly Circus at all. So we have to keep all these points in our mind. Then coming to the third paragraph, liberty is not a personal affair, but it's a social contract. It is an accommodation of interest in matters which do not touch anybody else's liberty. Of course, I may be as free as I like. If I choose to go down the strand in a dressing gown with long hair and bare feet, who shall say me nay? You have the liberty to laugh at me, but I have the liberty to be indifferent to you. And if I have a fancy for dyeing my hair or waxing my mustache, which heaven forbid, or wearing a tall hat, a frock coat and sandals, or going to bed late or getting up early, I shall follow my fancy and ask no man's permission. I shall not inquire of you whether I may eat mustard with my mutton. I may like mustard with my mutton, and you will not ask me whether you may be a Protestant or a Catholic, whether you may marry the dark lady or the fair lady. You may prefer Ella Wheeler Wilcox to Wordsworth or Champagne to Shandygaff. So, let's look at the meanings of the words here. Accommodation. What is meant by accommodation? It's an agreement between people with different opinions. And forbid means prohibited. Inquire means ask for information from someone. Champagne means it's a French word, a sparkling wine produced from grapes. Shandy means beer mixed with a soft drink. And Ella Wheeler Wilcox, an American author and poet. Coming to William Wordsworth. Okay, so yeah, he's a poet. And coming to the third paragraph, coming back to the third paragraph, liberty is not a personal affair. So don't ever think that liberty is limited only to one person, but it's a social contract. So it's connected to all the people in the society. It is an accommodation of interest. So we all have to agree with each other. So in limiting our liberty, so that we allow even others to act according to so their wish with the same limitations by utilizing this liberty in the right manner. In matters which do not touch anybody else's liberty, of course, I may be as free as I like, because there are certain matters so where we need not think about anybody. So I can eat what I like, and I can dress up in the way I like. So these are my personal things. These are my personal matters. So I can act in the way I like coming to my personal matters. But when it is connected to the people in and around the society, we have to keep all those people in our mind, and we have to act accordingly, that we should not disturb those people's liberty just because of our dictatorship or just because of our cruelty by utilizing this liberty in a wrong manner. Okay, so in matters which do not touch anybody else's liberty, of course, I may be as free as I like. There is no doubt. When it comes to my matters, I'll be free. According to my wish, I act according to my wish. I don't need to take anyone's permission. But if I choose to go down the strand in a dressing gown, so with a long hair and bare feet, who shall say me no? So who shall say me nay? Nay means no. So if I want to go down the lake, or so strand means a lake or the largest river. So if I would like to go down the lake or the largest river in a dressing gown with long hair and bare feet, who shall say me nay? So people may laugh at me. So nobody has the right, or no, it's no one's job to object me from going out. And if I have a fancy for dyeing my hair, sorry, you have the liberty to laugh at me. That means if I just go in such a so dressing, and if I just leave my hair, and if I just go with bare feet and all, they may laugh at me. They may be getting some sense of humor from me. They may enjoy by looking at me. But I have the liberty to be indifferent to you. I can be according to my wish, and I can act according to my choice. So they may laugh at me, but I want to be indifferent. So I have the right to be indifferent. And if I have a fancy for dyeing my hair, or waxing my mustache, or wearing a tall hat, a frock coat and sandals, or going to bed late or getting up early, I shall follow my fancy and ask no man's permission. So these are all my personal matters. The author says that these are all the personal matters. So when these matters come to a person, the person can act in the way he or she likes. So they need not ask anyone's permission before they do so, because it's not connected to anyone. So they are enjoying their own liberty, coming to their own personal matters. Let them. I shall not inquire of you whether I may eat mustard with my mutton. So coming to my food habits and all, I don't need to take your permission. I don't need to ask you. I will follow my food habits. So I don't need to take anyone's permission whether I can eat mustard with my mutton and all. So I may like mustard with my mutton, and you will not ask me whether you may be a Protestant or a Catholic, whether you marry the dark lady or the fair lady. You may prefer Ella Wheeler Wilcox to Wordsworth, or Champagne to Shandygaff. So coming to all the personal matters, so we need not take anyone's permission. But coming to the rule of the road, that's not connected to one person, that's connected to all the people in the society. So we have to be responsible. But coming to all these personal efforts, we can act according to our wish with no doubt. So if we can eat whatever we want, and we can live our life according to our wish. But coming to the matters which are connected to the people around or to the society, we have to be responsible. So let's look at the next slide. So liberty. So one more. So these are all the important points that the author mentioned in the paragraph. So liberty, it's not a personal affair. It's a social contract. So we can't say that. So it is my life and I'll do whatever I want. Many a times, so we come across people saying that I'll do whatever I want, and they cause even some kind of nuisance also to others. But no, liberty is not at all a personal affair when it comes to the people or the society, because we are a part of society. So it's a social contract. Liberty is an accommodation of interest. So we have to agree with each other. So we have to be responsible, and we should not cause any inconvenience, and we should not trouble anyone. So with our attitude, or with our nature, or with our carelessness, carelessness. And when it comes to the matters of such where the liberty of one individual doesn't touch anybody else's liberty, one may be as free as one like. So when it comes to the personal matters and all, we can be so careful. So, but we should never be careless towards so others. The author gives many examples where he or she does what he or she likes in terms of dressing, food habits, religion. So one can prefer any religion, one can prefer any food habits, and one can dress up in the way they like. But coming to the so society, or coming to the things that are connected to the society, we have to be careful. Their preferences in terms of whom to marry and with which poet to prefer. So these are all the individuals' interests. So these are the pictures that the author has mentioned. So this is the Piccadilly Circus so major traffic junction in the city of Westminster, London. Then again, as we have read in the paragraph, once again I'm showing you the pictures. Ella Wheeler Wilcox, an American author and poet, and William Wordsworth. So coming to the fourth paragraph, in all these and 1,000 other details, you and I please ourselves and ask no one slave. We have a whole kingdom in which we rule alone, can do what we choose, be wise or ridiculous, harsh or easy, conventional or odd, but directly we step out of that kingdom, our personal liberty of action becomes qualified by other people's liberty. I might like to practice on the trombone from midnight till 3 in the morning. If I went on to the top of Helvellyn to do it, I could please myself, but if I do it out in the streets, the neighbors will remind me that my liberty to blow the trombone must not interfere with their liberty to sleep in quiet. There are a lot of people in the world, and I have to accommodate my liberty to their liberties. So, coming to the fourth paragraph, in all these and 1,000 other details, you and I please ourselves and ask no one slaves. So, coming to the above personal matters and all, so we don't take anyone's permission, and we don't even so take the choice of anyone. So we can rule. We have a whole kingdom. So where we are the kings and the queens, and we can rule our whole kingdom. So we can rule all alone, and we can do whatever we want. Be wise. We can be wise. We can be intelligent and smart, or we can be funny. We can be smart, and we can be silly, and we can be harsh or easy, or we can be traditional. Conventional means let me just give you. So the glossary, ridiculous means very silly or unreasonable. Conventional means in accordance with what is generally done. So trombone, it's a musical instrument, and Helvellyn, a mountain in the English Lake District. So we can rule our whole kingdom, and we can be harsh or easy, conventional or odd. So we can be indifferent, or we can be like others, but directly we step out of that kingdom. So once when we move out of our kingdom, then we have to be wise enough, and then we have to be responsible enough, because our personal liberty of action becomes qualified by other people's liberty. There, so our personal liberty of action becomes qualified by other people's liberty. So in whichever way we act, that will have some impact on others, and we also have to so suffer if others also act in the same way. So I might like to practice on the trombone from midnight till 3 in the morning. If anybody so practices so this trombone, it's a musical instrument. If anyone would like to practice the musical instrument at night, so by disturbing others sleep and all, then we have to remember that, and we have to be a little responsible, because we have no right to disturb anyone's sleep. And if I went on to the top of Helvellyn to do it, I could please myself, but if I do it out in the streets, the neighbors will remind me that my liberty to blow the trombone must not interfere with their liberty to sleep in quiet. If I would like to practice any musical instrument and all, I can go on to the mountain and I can just practice it, so where I find no people and where I can disturb nobody. But when I'm a part of the society, when I'm living in the midst of the people, then I do have to be responsible, and every step I have to check before I make any step, and I have to so be wise enough. So if in case if I continue doing that, if in case if I continue practicing the musical instrument, so by being at my home, the neighbors will surely come and they say that I'm interfering with their liberty because they're unable to sleep so peacefully. So I have no right to disturb their sleep. So then surely there are a lot of people in the world, and I have to accommodate my liberty to their liberties. So all the time by giving a smart answer or a wise answer, saying that I will do according to my wish and it's my life and I will just so go on in my own way. Of course, anybody can go on in one's own way, but coming to the matters again and again, the author has been portraying and helping us to get reminded of the fact that we have to be responsible and we should be the responsible citizens. So by checking our every step, so in controlling our personal liberties where they are linked even with the people around. So here once again, let's have a look at the important points from the paragraph. The author states that we have a kingdom where we can rule all alone and act in the way we like. Nobody will come and question, why did you do this, why did you do that, when it comes to our personal matters, because we are smart enough to say that I will do according to my wish because it has got nothing to do with your personal matters, or I'm not going to disturb even your personal matters. As long as we are in that kingdom, nobody objects our individual liberty. But when we step out of that kingdom, we must remember that our personal liberty of action becomes qualified by other people's liberty. So we have to be careful when we step out of the kingdom and keep all the people around in our mind and act accordingly, because we should not be so disqualified in their sight. We should not be bad in their sight. So by disturbing their personal liberty, because so we have one liberty. It's not for one, but it is for everyone that we have to remember. So there is a need to accommodate our liberty to others' liberty in order not to cause inconvenience to anybody. So this we have to remember. And coming to the last paragraph, we are all liable to forget this. And unfortunately, we are much more conscious of the imperfections of others in this respect than of our own. So we are all liable to forget this. So what is liable? We are all legally answerable. What are the imperfections? So faults or the defects. Follies, lack of good sense or understanding. So we are all liable to forget this. So what is that we forget? We are all liable to forget it. What is it? That we have to be responsible. So when we step out of our kingdom, we have to control our liberty. We have to limit our liberty so that we will not disturb others' liberty, so that we will give a space even to all to act and to have a smooth life without disturbing anyone. And unfortunately, we are much more conscious of the imperfections of others in this respect than of our own. This is the normal saying, isn't it? Many times people say, mind your own business before you mind my business. People say this. That means before finding a fault with others, let's introspect ourselves. Let's cross check ourselves and let's introspect and let's try to find out or realize in what aspects we are going wrong, or we are disturbing others, or we are harming others. So when we check or when we look into ourselves, then we will come to know even our imperfections. So before we find a fault with others, in this respect than of our own. So we should stop finding a fault with others. So once when we introspect, when we look into ourselves, when we try to correct all our follies or the mistakes, then we can suggest others that that's not the way to do that. So the author states that we're all liable to forget the fact that we all have to accommodate our liberty to others' liberties. But unfortunately, we often try to find a fault with the follies of others rather than of our own. So that's the lesson. And coming to the selected annotations. Liberty is not a personal affair only, but a social contract. These are the selected annotations given in our text. So the second question, in all these and a thousand other details, you and I please ourselves and ask no one slave. We are all liable to forget this, and unfortunately, we are much more conscious of the imperfections of others in this respect than of our own. Describe the instance, coming to the selected questions. Describe the incident about the stout lady who walked down the middle of a street. What do we learn from it? And the second one, explain with examples what the rule of the road means. And the third one, liberty is an accommodation of interests. Elaborate with examples from the essay. We have a whole kingdom. Fourth one, we have a whole kingdom in which we rule alone. Mention the areas in which we can rule alone without curtailing the liberty of others. So let's have a look at one annotation of how to write this annotation. So each annotation carries 4 marks. So we are all liable to forget this. And unfortunately, we are much more conscious of the imperfections of others in this respect. So this sentence coming to introduction. So each annotation, as you have seen in the earlier classes, each annotation so has been so consisting of it consists of introduction, context, explanation, critical comment. Coming to the introduction, we mention the name of the lesson as well as the author. So context, in which context the above lines have been spoken. Coming to the explanation, we explain or we write. So we write elaboratively the meaning of the annotation given, and critical comment we so give or critical appreciation in the critical comment of the lesson or the poem. So here introduction, this sentence is taken from the lesson on the rule of the road written by H.G. Gardiner. The essay is a short but interesting discussion on individual liberty and social responsibility. And context, coming to the context, the author states that rights and responsibilities go together. At many instances, he clearly portrays that individual liberty has to be curtailed for a great social order. Explanation, we are free to do whatever we choose in the kingdom of our own. We can dress up as we like, eat what we want, follow any religion, and marry either a dark lady or a fair lady. But when we step out of that kingdom, our personal liberty is qualified by other people's liberty. Hence, we have to accommodate our interests to their liberties. We have to accommodate our liberty to their liberties. But as we forget the very fact that we must curtail our liberty to preserve everyone's liberties, we often find fault with others without realizing our mistakes. We pay much attention towards others' imperfections rather than our faults. But if we could realize the fact that we must also sacrifice our liberty when it pertains to all, it leads to a great social order. So coming to critical comment, we are mostly conscious of our rights, but we often forget our own imperfections. So explain, coming to the paragraph questions, explain with examples what the rule of the road means. The essay on the rule of the road is written by A.G. Gardiner. He wrote many articles under the pseudonym of Alpha of the Plough. His essays are elegant, humorous, and of human interest. It's a short but interesting discussion on individual liberty and social responsibility. The rule of the road is meant for the safety and security of the society. In order to retain everyone's liberties, all individual liberties must be curtailed. The author gives an example of an old lady walking in the middle of the road, causing traffic confusion and danger to her life. When she was pointed out for that, she defended by saying that so she had the freedom to walk wherever she liked. So the author argues by saying that if the old lady had not the right to walk wherever she liked, the cab driver also had got the same right to drive on the pavement, and that the end of such liberty would be universal chaos. And when a policeman stops us on a highway, we may feel our liberty has been outraged. But if he does not do so, if he does not do his duty, there will be a maelstrom which results in accidents. A traffic police must be treated as a symbol of liberty, but not of tyranny. The writer convinces the reader that rights and responsibilities go together. Understanding this fact and following it makes life sweeter, while failure to do so makes it bitter. So read the following sentences. Coming to the grammatical part here. So we have some structures that we have to make note of. So read the following sentences carefully. Note the use of remind. It is just as well as to remind ourselves of what the rule of the road means. The use of remind follows the below or follows the following pattern. Remind someone plus of plus something. Some other examples of usage of such other words are a while, it should be followed by a while plus oneself, plus it should be followed by of, plus something. Prevent, prevent, plus someone, plus from doing something. Prohibit or stop, plus someone plus from doing something. Refrain also should be followed by from doing something. So prohibit from, prevent from, avoid oneself of. Avoid should be followed by the reflexive pronoun as well as of. Prevent should be followed by from. Then again, prohibit should be followed by from. Refrain should be followed by from. So some of the examples here. We must avail ourselves of this opportunity. Avail, it's for we. So the reflexive pronoun of we is ourselves. So we must avail ourselves of. So that reflexive pronoun should also be followed by of. So we must avail ourselves of this opportunity. Then we have to prevent our children. Prevent should be followed by from. We have to prevent our children from going out in the rain. Then they third one, prohibit from. They have been prohibited from attending the examination without a mask. One must refrain from spitting in the public places. So this is the homework given to you for the next class. So here is the match the following. Match the words in column A with their meanings in column B. Pavement. So preserved, interfere, reflect, contract, indifferent, point out, in order that, step out of, walk down. And get involved, coming to the options that are given. So get involved in a situation. Yes, yes, sir.